Adaptive skepticism. Why your high bar for trust is a survival skill. Welcome to my channel, Habit Compass. Today, the goal of this video is to completely reshape how you view your own boundaries. We're going to explore why having a hard time trusting people isn't a character flaw, but actually a brilliant, hardwired defense mechanism. Seriously, if you've ever been told you're too guarded, or if you often find yourself second-guessing someone's overly friendly motives, this video is absolutely going to change your life. You know, we live in a world that constantly tells us to be open books, right? To assume the best in absolutely everyone we meet from the very first second. But the reality of human psychology is just so much more fascinating and way more complex than that simple advice. By the end of our time today, you are going to stop apologizing for your boundaries and start recognizing them for the sophisticated survival tools they truly are. You've probably heard it before. Maybe friends, family, or even well-meaning coworkers have labeled you a cynical. They tell you that you're too guarded, that you expect the worst in people, or that you just need to, open up and trust more. And man, it can feel deeply alienating to hear that, almost as if there's a fundamental glitch in your personality. You might even catch yourself wondering, why can't I just take people at face value like everyone else seems to do? Well, here is the empowering reality. You are not broken, not even a little bit. What everyday people mistakenly, and honestly pretty unfairly, call cynicism, psychologists actually call adaptive skepticism. See, cynicism is a blanket negativity. It's this belief that everyone is fundamentally bad. But adaptive skepticism, on the other hand, it is a highly targeted, intelligent screening process. It's a completely different framework. Embracing this term changes literally everything about how you should view your own mind, moving you from feeling socially defective to realizing you're actually incredibly observant. Okay, let's dive into this. Part 1, the cynicism myth, rethinking your trust filter. We need to start by just busting this societal myth wide open. Society pushes this idea that if you have a high bar for trust, something must be fundamentally wrong with your ability to connect. You're told you need to be vulnerable immediately to form authentic relationships. But viewing your caution as a negative trait, that completely misses the incredibly sophisticated way your brain is actually working behind the scenes. Adaptive skepticism is a psychological survival skill where the brain builds trust filters to evaluate the genuineness of safety signals before allowing vulnerability. Notice the absolute key words in that definition: survival skill and evaluate. This isn't about being a negative or pessimistic person at all. It is a highly evolved psychological mechanism. Evaluating safety signals means you are subconsciously analyzing microexpressions, consistency in people's stories and their body language, rather than just blindly believing their words. Your brain is doing exactly what it was designed to do, keeping you emotionally and physically safe in a highly complex and sometimes deceptive social world.
Part 2, the trust filter, why the brain builds defenses.
So, nobody is just born with a massive brick wall built around their emotions. Babies naturally trust their caregivers. It's our default factory setting. So how does this sophisticated trust filter actually get constructed? Well, your brain naturally builds these filters, and it's entirely driven by early developmental learning and neuroplasticity. Think back to your own past for a second. At some pivotal point in your life, your brain learned a very hard, very real lesson. Not all signals of safety are genuine. Maybe someone smiled at you, acted like your best friend, or promised you complete safety, and then they completely broke that trust. It could have been a childhood friend, a first love, or a trusted adult. Once your brain realizes that an initial signal of safety can be a lie, neuroplasticity kicks in. Your brain adapts to protect you from experiencing that specific pain again. It literally rewires its neural pathways and says, okay, I'm not going to be fooled by just a smile anymore. I need proof. I need consistency over time. That adaptation is exactly how your brilliant, fiercely protective trust filter is born. It's really just your brain loving you enough to say, never again.
Part 3, the X-ray lens, seeing behind the masks.
Picture this. You're walking down the street and a group of people approaches you. Every single one of them is holding up a superficial, brightly painted, smiley face mask. This represents the polite, curated version of ourselves we all present to the public, right? In a completely naive state, a person might just accept every one of those painted smiles as absolute truth, assuming everyone is exactly as nice as they pretend to be. But because you have developed adaptive skepticism, your brain handles this scenario a bit differently. The moment someone approaches, you automatically activate a psychological X-ray lens. You aren't judging them, you are evaluating them. And here's where the magic happens. That mental lens peers straight past the pleasantries and the practiced charm. It reveals what's really hiding underneath the facade. Sometimes your X-ray detects a hidden frown, maybe a hidden resentment, or some ulterior motive. Other times, it reveals a giant, uncertain question mark, signaling that this person's words and actions simply don't match up yet. You aren't being negative by seeing this. Your brain is just acting as a highly calibrated scanner, seeking true intentions instead of blindly accepting the convenient illusion. Part 4. A calibrated response, letting the wall down safely.
Now, I want to reassure you right now. Possessing this powerful X-ray lens does not mean you're doomed to be closed off from the world forever. No way. It's not about living in total isolation or letting fear run your life. Instead, it's about deploying a smart, highly situational response. It's the wisdom of knowing exactly when it is safe to drop your guard. Think of this process kind of like managing a fortress. You keep a sturdy psychological brick wall up firmly for anyone who is still hiding behind a mask. If your internal radar detects a hidden motive, a manipulative tone, or an inconsistent story, the wall stays up, and you remain perfectly safe. You do not owe anyone access to your inner self just because they asked nicely. But on the flip side, when that rare individual approaches you with no mask at all, just a completely honest, genuine, and transparent face that perfectly aligns with their actions over time, that is when everything shifts. For them, your psychological wall safely and gracefully comes down. You absolutely allow vulnerability and deep connection, but only because it has been thoroughly earned, vetted, and verified.
So what does this all mean? It means adaptive skepticism is a beautifully calibrated response to a complicated world. Your high bar for trust is a profound strength, not a weakness. And it certainly isn't a character flaw you need to go fix. It is living, breathing proof that your brain is actively working around the clock to protect your peace. It ensures that your most valuable asset, your vulnerability, is treated as a privilege, only given to those who have truly shown through their consistent actions that they deserve it. So I want to leave you with a question to think about today. Who in your life has actually done the hard work to earn the right to see past your wall? Acknowledge those people and appreciate the boundaries that helped you find them. If you learned something new, subscribe to the channel for building habits through navigating compass.